Thank you so much. So now we'll be passing it on to our next guest speaker, Dr. Ameena Hussain. She is the Chief Curator and Director of Programs at WISE, and her keynote is on youth empowerment and education for future changemakers. And Dr. Ameena, I'm so sorry for the delay, but now the floor is yours. So we're very excited to hear your keynote. So you may go ahead now.
Okay, I was unable to unmute for some time, but I guess everyone can hear me now. Thank you so much, Natalie, for the introduction. And Khalifa, it's been a pleasure listening to you. I remember our last encounter was years back when I was director of the Student Center at Qatar Foundation. So you took me in a kind of a trip back in time. Inspiring speech. We always get to learn a lot from you when we listen to you, Khalifa. Hello everyone. I hope you've been having great 2 days so far. And thank you so much, Natalie, and the organizers of the event for inviting me and pulling this amazing event together. So I do have a presentation since I have 30 minutes. I'll try to be quick because I also, as much as possible, don't want to delay the program. So I'll be sharing my screen. Perfect. And I'm just going to put presentation mode on. I think everything is okay, it seems. I'm sure I'm not as techno savvy as most of the folks who are in the room, but I'll do my best. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to share a little bit about me. So my name is Ameena Hussain, and I do work at WISE, which is a center and Qatar Foundation that promotes and champions the power of education and transforming the world. At WISE, I oversee a number of programs and research that tackle innovation and education. Some of those programs include youth leadership, learning ecosystems, quality and access in education. I also oversee and lead the content design and delivery for our flagship project, which is the WISE Global Summit. I have been an educator since 2002. In previous roles, I was a former teacher. I was involved in the pilot school as part of the education reform in Qatar and worked in higher ed and Qatar Foundation. And sharing a bit about me personally, I'm a mom of 2 amazing children and a partner to a great man. Both my parents were first-generation college graduates here in Qatar, and both have worked in education for their entire professional life, building the education ecosystem of Qatar alongside a number of other awesome pioneers in the field here. And this is what has inspired me to work in education. Okay, so what do we mean by youth empowerment? When youth are empowered, they have the skills, critical awareness, and opportunities to positively impact their own lives and the lives of the individuals around them, the organizations that they're part of, or that are part of their communities at large. To truly empower youth, our society has to be very intentional about the way youth are incorporated into communities and organizations. As you may know, the world today is home to the largest generation of young people in history. So around 1.8 billion young people. And a lot of them also live in developing countries. So I think maybe we should take a step back and ask this question. Who are the youth? There is no universally agreed international definition of youth, but the UN defines youth as those persons between the ages of 15 and 24 years old. What is youth empowerment and why is it more needed than ever? As you know, we all know, unfortunately, in the last 2 years, we've been living with COVID-19. So this pandemic has struck us like a tsunami and has caused the greatest worldwide disruption since the Second World War. And education has not been spared. So billions have, been kept out of schools and colleges, while others were struggling also to transition back to workplace. So the world is already facing multiple challenges as well. Aside from COVID, we have growing inequalities. There is, the climate change. There are a lot of political instabilities happening throughout the world, wars. There is, in a lot of parts of the world, a lot of challenges into access to quality education. There are also a lot of unemployment in so many parts of the world. There are issues in getting access to quality healthcare. So those are issues of great importance to everyone. And of course, they're of great importance to the young people. So why should we invest in youth? Young people constitute a great asset worth investing in. And that would help us open the door to a unparalleled multiplier effect. So what do we do? What do we do, and more specifically, not only as societies, but as educators as well? We need to include youth in decision-making processes. We need to honor their voice and give them the platform. We need to understand and implement their honest opinions and ideas. We need to be willing to share our adult power and privilege in order to make the community a better place for both young people and adults alike. And I'm just gonna move my picture here. And so, we've seen a bit of challenges there, changes there happening in the world. Now, as you know, we have an International Youth Day that is celebrated worldwide on 12th of August of every year. And that's, again, another opportunity for governments and others to draw attention to youth issues worldwide. So, with this large and increasing number of young people across the globe, we know that it is only by engaging and working with them and supporting them and standing up for their rights, creating the right conditions for them to progress and play an active role that the international community will be able to achieve peace, security, justice, climate resilience, and sustainable development for all. So there is hope. We've seen a lot of changes on the global scene. We've seen that there are global efforts putting youth at the center stage. So youth development and youth engagement are part of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, the United Nations Development Program. There is a specific program for youth that tackles the challenges faced by young people and how to support their empowerment and how to create enabling environments for them for their human development. There was the latest also a report that tackles youth social entrepreneurship and how can we support youth development and help accelerate the implementation of the SDGs. So youth empowerment is both a human right imperative and a smart investment in sustainable development and peace. Promoting youth empowerment is also a critical means of fostering inclusive development more broadly and of building resilient communities and nations. There are a number of programs that promote youth empowerment. Now, other than, some of the things that we've already seen that are on UN, national, United Nations agencies, such as the UNDP, there is also, other programs that are supported by UNESCO. They're supporting youth initiatives and help them scale for impact. They are also hosting the UNESCO Youth Forum, so I highly encourage you to check it out and check their website to learn more about these things. Next door here in Doha, we have Education Above All. They do have a youth ambassador program. I think they have closed their applications for this year, but the program selects youth advocates and help train them to support their advocacy skills, help them participate and give them the platform in different forums and platforms, whether locally, regionally, and globally. So those are a couple of examples of how big international and regional organizations are creating platforms for youth empowerment and engagement. Another one that I came across that I thought is very interesting is the United Nations Youth Associations. So what it does, it aims, the whole purpose of the program is to educate young people and the community about definitely the work of the United Nations, which is important, but empowering young people to get involved in international affairs and civil society, representing the views of young people at local, national, international levels, and again, engaging them in forums by the youth for the youth. And some of their activities might include Model United Nations, education programs for primary and secondary schools, and other events and panel discussions that some of them are taking place online. So again, there are chapters for the United Nations Youth Associations in different parts of the world. And to learn more about those chapters and how they operate, again, I encourage you to visit those websites and learn about those youth-led NGOs that are completely based on, young volunteers. Okay, so youth empowerment is a two-way road. Responsibility goes both ways. We did talk about, what we're expecting maybe from the global scene, what are we expecting from important global agencies. However, there is a responsibility at your end as well. As young people, what can you do? I would like to, yeah, perfect. So you can take initiative and participate in programs. I mean, you are already doing that by being here today. You can learn about opportunities that you can be part of. No need to look far. There are so many interesting initiatives next door. The Makers Majlis that I think the Qatar Youth Conference falls under is one of them. And as I said, there is EAA next door. I'm sure there are a lot of programs as well in your school, in the city that you are living in, and beyond. As I said, check out so many different websites that exist for so many international organizations that promote youth leadership and empowerment. These programs can be in the form of leadership development, service learning trips. I know, with COVID, it's very hard for us to use the word trip anymore, but, there are, I'm sure, some online programs. There are hackathons. And one straightforward point, don't forget to make the best out of your learning journey at school. This is, again, one important factor that we should not forget. Your journey at school, your journey at university, your journey at work, if you're, you just joined the professional world, and just, make sure that embrace lifelong learning. Educate yourself and read about the world's challenges and what solutions are being explored. Read or listen to audiobooks. I tell My kids that a lot. Sometimes I know as young people, you're also busy with what happens at school, commitments towards school and university. But there are so many creative ways now where you can get exposed to information also in an interesting way. As you're exercising, maybe you can listen to something in the form of an audiobook or a podcast. I tell my kids, I would always advise that you move beyond the genre of fiction. Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General of the United Nations, said, "Youth should be at the forefront of global change and innovation." This has been an inspiration for us at WISE. So what we have done in 2010 as WISE, and I don't know how much you know about us, and I do encourage you to check our website to learn more about the work that we do in promoting education and tackling global challenges. But in 2010, I think we've been also pioneers as a private organization and in terms of creating a youth fellowship program that provides students with opportunities to be part of a youth community interested in shaping the future of their communities and beyond. The program equips the young people with self-expression skills so that they can voice their opinions about social issues and think creatively about how to address them. Since 2021, this program was before that open to learners from everywhere in the world. And in 21, we made the shift to have the program based in Qatar. So where the students who are participating in the program are all from schools here in Qatar. As as part of our strategy, we want to strengthen our relations with the local schools and the Ministry of Education. So now this year we have a cohort of 40 Qatar-based students aged between 13 and 15 from public schools. What we do, we have a number of workshops with them on a monthly basis on self-expression skills, like photography, filming, creative writing. We have guest speakers who raise awareness around social challenges related to their expertise, such as sustainability, urban planning, and culture preservation. Students can work in group assignments related to those workshops throughout the year, and their teachers support them and ensure that they meet the deliverables. And we provide also university students who mentor and advise them. And then students present their work and sessions during WISE events, such as the WISE Summit that is coming up in December and the Doha Learning Days Festival. So far the Learner's Voice, just to share numbers since 2010, we have a network of over 220 learners from over 52 countries, 9 cohorts in total, 25 projects that were developed in the field of education. We had 4,500 applications from 90 plus countries so far. And as you can see, someone is trying to draw on the screen. So as you can see, we also brought a testimonial from one of our learners from the 2013-14 cohort, and she was talking about how life-changing experience it was, and how much she benefited from the program. Also, learning a lot around some of the challenges that the field of education is facing. Another program, which is for maybe an older group of young people, is WISE Emerging Leaders. And there is more drawing happening on the screen.
Sorry to cut you off. Just wanted to let you know that you can actually disable that if you go to the annotation bar and you press more and disable annotation from everyone, and then clear the screen, and you should be fine.
That's fine. Thank you so much, Natalie. You guys are the best.
It's Amal, but Same thing.
Thank you. You're a great team. Thank you. So WISE Emerging Leaders is another program that helps, young generation of system leaders with tools to transform their own communities. And again, it's for an older group of young people, aging from early 20s to late 20s. And so far, we've had 36 fellows from 25 countries. We do have great alumni network. We provide for them great professional opportunities for, as part of the, the general network that we have. We try to cultivate that for their benefit. The fellowship program have residential sessions. We do a lot of, project support to help them tackle some of the challenges that they're facing in their own community. We curate interactive workshops, we provide mentors, and they do post on our platforms on topics that they're passionate about. I thought, since we're here together, it only makes sense that I tell you a little bit about WISE Summit 2021 and how we are trying to put youth at the center of that. So the summit is titled this year, Generation on Youth, Reclaiming Our Future Through Education. As I mentioned earlier, because of where we stand and the disruption that happened in young people's lives, that has already widened the gap whether it's disruption in their learning journey, or whether it's impact and maybe negative impact on employment opportunities, we felt more than ever that this year is a time where we give the platform for young people to be talking with decision makers, policy makers, practitioners around how we can all work together towards tackling current challenges and building a better future. So the WISE Summit is going to be taking place on 8th and 9th of December over the course of 2 days. We hope that we will have a hybrid program. We will see, but we're really hopeful that we will have an in-person session, maybe for a small number of people, around 500 in comparison to the years before where we had thousands of people. And we will have hopefully an online component that will be available for a range of audience everywhere in the world. And as I said, whether it's the in-person component or the online component, we're really hoping that we will have speakers and contributors and attendees who are young people, from the ages of 15 and above. And of course, the summit always takes place in Doha, but this year we're adding the online component. We want to amplify in 2021 the voices of young people. And as I said, we want to curate topics that are of interest to all of you here who are with us today and the global community at large. So there is a youth program, and I think this part would be interesting for you. There is a youth program at the summit. And so we will have a youth studio. We're going to be working with a group of young people who will be curating with us sessions that would be of interest to young people. So they're from young people to young people over the course of 2 days. And I don't know if you've heard about this platform, but there is a platform that is called Twitch. So we're going to be using that, where we're going to have a full day of class on this platform. We're going to be bringing interesting young people who are influencers as well, that you will be, you as young people will have access to. over this platform and participate in very interesting classes and workshops online. If you want to learn more about us, I encourage you to visit our channels. I mean, we have the website, and we're going to be posting information about the summit on a regular basis now as we develop the program. We do have a Facebook account. We do have, you can follow us on Twitter, on Instagram for sure. And I thought, you know, I would like to leave you with my 3 C's, as I call them. One is courage. I invite you all to be open to new ideas, solutions, and possibilities, new and different ways of being. I invite you to challenge each other, as I believe courage is what you do when you do not know most of the time. And courage breeds agility. Commit by being present, by sharing your ideas, by taking the discussion and the learning that took place during those 2 days forward and beyond the forum. Commit by taking initiative and by becoming a lifelong learner. Collaborate. Collaboration is really important. We are all united by our passion for learning here, so let us collaborate beyond boundaries. As together, you can bring hope to the world. We're relying on you. And the last 2 quotes on my end. As Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. And I think, you know, we need to come together as different parts of the society, adults and young people, students, teachers, learners, professionals, practitioners, decision makers. We need to all work hand in hand together for a better future. And Her Highness Sheikha Moza bint Nasser, who I'm sure you all know, and as you know, she is the chairperson of Qatar Foundation. This is one of my favorite quotes of her. She says, there is an intellectual worldwide consensus, which you are all a part of, that says education is a treasury for all solutions. So again, honor the learning journey that you're part of, make the best out of it, and we're relying on you and the rest of the young people of the world in making a better future for all of us. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ameena. That was really eye-opening and really fun to listen to. I'll now be passing over to Anya and Kayana, who will be introducing our next workshop.
Thank you, Mom.